What's good, everyone? Coach D here with the Shift Method. Another YouTube video for y'all. Today, talking about the guns, baby. We're talking about bicep training. I'm gonna give you my top 3 bicep exercises that I really like to do in my training that I can do here at Johnny O's Gymnasium. Let's jump right into it. So as always, we gotta start with our anatomy lesson. So we got our little graphic right here talking about the anatomy of the biceps brachiae. So the biceps is actually a 2-headed muscle. We have our long head and our short head. The long head of the bicep is on the outside. It's the lateral aspect of the arm. The short head is on the medial side, or the inner portion of your arm. Now this is a unique muscle because it actually crosses 3 main joints. At the top, where it attaches onto the coracoid process of your shoulder blade, it crosses your shoulder joint, so it has action there. It crosses your elbow joint, and it crosses the relationship between your 2 forearm bones, your radius and your ulna, and so it crosses your radial ulnar joint, attaching actually down on your radius, your radial tuberosity. And so because it crosses these different joints, it has a lot of actions. So at the shoulder joint, it allows you to do shoulder flexion, so the ability to raise your arm forward in this motion that you see here. At the elbow joint and at the radial ulnar joint, we have elbow flexion, so the ability to shorten this angle on the anterior portion of your elbow, and supination, the ability to rotate so that your palms are facing upward. Make sure you remember that, because when we go through these exercises that you're gonna see here in a second, that's gonna be very, very important to make sure we get the most out of our biceps training. Okay, so our first exercise we're gonna work on is what I call a rotational curl. So if you've watched any of these videos before, you're gonna always hear me talking about putting the muscle in a long muscle length, especially at that eccentric part of the movement. So we just talked about how your bicep is able to supinate your arms, right? That ability to rotate your palms to face upward. So with a rotational curl, instead of just doing your traditional curl where my palms stay facing forward, I'm gonna actually start from a neutral grip position and rotate on the way up. Key things you wanna focus on here. Number 1 is you wanna have an upright posture, so making sure your chest is up nice and proud. Number 2, I want my elbow glued to my side, right? So I don't want my elbows flexing too far forward. I want to keep them in as tight as possible. Imagine like you've got a tennis ball or something underneath your armpit and you don't want it to fall down. And last but not least, I want to make sure that the movement is controlled so there's no swinging, right? So when I come up, I'm nice and strong, and then nice and slow, full extension at the bottom, keeping that tension, making sure that I'm not swinging as I go up. Let's do some reps. All right, so next exercise we're gonna do is the backwards facing cable curl. I've made Instagram reels about this before. Cable curls are phenomenal exercises to do. Easy to load, easy to control. But the problem when you do a forward facing curl is it's hard to maintain a lot of tension, especially at the bottom. To kind of give you a quick example, right? I have my bar set up, I got my elbows pinned in, chest is up, I got good form here. But on the way down, if you notice, even if I stand directly over it, it's hard to keep a lot of tension at the bottom because the weight is really hardest here, right? Where the weight and kind of my ability to produce force is furthest from each other. At the bottom, I don't have as much tension as I would like because I'm pretty much in a straight line in terms of where the force is being displayed. So I want to try and fix this. The best way that you can do that is to face away from the cable stack. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to face with my back to it, get myself set up, and now with a few steps away from the cable stack, the line of pull is now behind me. So although it's still not perfect, when I'm at the bottom of the movement here, it actually has a lot of tension, which I otherwise wouldn't have. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do my reps. Notice too, guys, if you're doing this one, it can be a little uncomfortable for the boys downstairs, but just do it nice and controlled, you're gonna be just fine. Last but not least is going to be the single arm extension cable curl. So I've again made an Instagram video about this one as well, where I'm going to actually let my elbow come into, or my shoulder rather, into a bit of extension. We talked about the bicep, how it does flexion, so that's going to put it in a shortened position. By allowing my arm to stay fixed in extension, where my arm is backwards behind me, I'm going to lengthen that bicep a lot, especially at the bottom of the movement. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna set my cable up. I'm gonna get into a staggered stance, so whatever arm is working, I'm gonna have that opposite weight forward to kind of counterbalance myself. I'm gonna pin myself back here, keep my shoulder back, and then I'm gonna perform elbow flexion. If you've never done this exercise before, it's a very unique feeling. It feels really good. You get a really solid pump, and it's challenging because keeping your arm fixed back there, keeping that elongated position is gonna be really tough and really good for building hypertrophy here. So let's do some reps. And that's it. I hope y'all enjoyed today's video. Go out and use these exercises. Go ahead and work on those guns, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, I got my daily content on the socials, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Later.